Hello and welcome back to Project Prototech. Alright, last episode we left off with me having started widening my rover, and in this episode you can see that I have filled in the back of it some with a pair of large cargo containers, as well as 2 refineries, a pair of hydrogen engines, and a pair of H2O2 generators. Now, while this is all very nice, I had actually been recording while I was putting those on, but the cats jumping on the desk managed to mess things up badly enough for once that I had to reboot my PC, and it turns out that the recording didn't survive even if my, what's it called? Space Engineers survived. So at least I have that going for me. But that means that you didn't get to see the thought process behind that. But taking a look here, right now, so I've got 3 refineries on this vehicle. I'm going to take this one down, and then I'm also going to move the algae farms back to basically on top of this, at least for now. I might actually go up a level from that. Actually, yeah, going up a level from that sounds about right. So that way I can then, have an entire floor on top. I have this little gap back here, and my intention is I'm going to go ahead and put the little flying miner right back here. So I'll dock, I'll put like a sorter and then a connector right here. Have a little what's called a little bay for it, that I can fly in and out of, and that'll all be good. And then I'm slowly working on pulling everything off of the front of this and moving it back, so that way I can take the whole front of this and widen it. So, enough talking. Let's go ahead and check some stuff really quick. Let's see here. I've got interior turrets, that's full. Those refineries are running. The survival kit is going. Alright, is there anything else that I need right now? Let's see. I need to figure out where I'm going to stick the assembler. Let's see. Is there anywhere that I can put it on that still lets me get multiple modules on it? Kind of like to keep that little middle area open for a future farm. So there's not really anywhere that's jumping out at the moment. Let's see here. Alright, if I come around here... Ooh, I know. I can rotate this 90 degrees. That was noisy. Like this, because I couldn't access the side anyway from that because of that. But, come on. There we go. Alright. So with that, that will let me go ahead and put, say, 3 cargo containers here, put the algae farm across that, and then put the assembler in front. Do I want to move the algae farm up? You know, stop worrying about it. Let's just do it. So I need to start by going ahead and grabbing one of these. Alright. Never mind. Looks like I need to build a few more. Production, cargo containers. And then, you know what, let's just add one more just for good measure. Alright. Well, that's under construction. Let me check my ice situation. Oh, I don't have any. So let's go ahead and turn off that hydrogen engine and the H2O2 generators. And then, while things assemble, I'm going to go hand mine some more ice, because clearly that's my favorite thing to do. Alrighty, so we should have everything that we need to finish building this, and I have decided that I have had enough of stopping and manually mining ice, so I'm going to go ahead and just get started on that lovely little mining vessel. So for this, that cargo container is actually going to be slightly useful. Let me go ahead and start by just giving myself a nice little sunshade. So what I'm going to do for that is basically just kind of pull up. Yeah, so that's going to be the height of that. So that's going to be that level. And then for right now, at least, let's just go ahead and come all the way across. Alrighty. And lovely thing is that whether the blocks are finished or not, they still protect you from radiation. So that means that I am now no longer standing in the sun behind these girders. Okay, that was a little bit farther than I thought. Alright, let's just come on across. Alrighty, and then there we go. And all the steel plate I actually am likely to go ahead and weld up at some point, because as you can see, it is basically the top of this. Not sure, I might bring it down one level, but you know, more room is always better, provided that you don't have an extraneous reason for not doing it, like your rover becoming too top heavy, which, you know, never would happen, right? Alright, there we go. I can now work without being exposed. Alrighty, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to come on over here. And because I like the look of it more, let's use the industrial conveyor sorter. Wait a second. Which way is this pointing? Wrong way. Okay. There we go. Alright, so the sorter is now pointing inwards, so it's going to now collect all of the ore and put that inside the cargo container. So let's go ahead and call this the ore sorter. We are going to whitelist ore, and let's just set this to drain all. Perfect. Alrighty, so now that we've got that, the next thing that we want to do is we're going to add a connector in front of it. Ooh, is there an argument to be made for falling off this? Nope. Okay. Dang it. I really want to use this one, but I think, after a little bit more thought, what I actually want to do is use this one. Because if we look at that, that is airtight. If you are wondering what just popped up, that is the build info mod, or build vision mod, I forget which one. But it gives you important things like, is this airtight? So you can see, you know, what's going on. I can also use BICN, and hello, now you can see my entire conveyor network, and if there's anything broken in it, you could also see that. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go ahead and use this in case I decide that I want to wall off this section and make it airtight in the future. I'm not sure if I will or not, but this way I just have that in place for it, even if I think the industrial one does look cooler. Or sorter, drain all, or on whitelist. There we go. Alright, now then, doing it correctly this time. Let's come on up here. There we go. Alrighty, so I now have a connector built. And this is all ready for me to attach that little flying miner. Alright, so what is going to go into this miner? Let's see here. Step 1, let me go ahead and find my mechanical blocks. There we go. Actually, let's do it this way. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and build just a simple little rotor. I don't even need to actually build the rotor, because I can come in here, find the rotor, and then I can attach a small head. There we go. And now, oh goodies. Alright. Alright, so I have the rotor there, I have the small head. I'm at an angle. If I start building off that, that's going to rotate. Let's go ahead. Have that build really quick. That way it does not move. Alright, now I can go ahead and just grab a whole bunch of light armor. Alright, I want to come out 2 more. And then there we go. Now I can come here I can build this. And you know what, for this one, let's go ahead and do yellow as the primary color. Alrighty. And then turn off the conveyor visibility because I don't need that anymore. Alright, so I've got the yellow.
Energy low.
I have low energy. Oh, I guess I will come on over here, and while I'm at that, let me just check. Okay, still got 5 hours of power. Ice. Okay, I am all out of ice again, as usual. But that's why I'm building this little rover. But I do have 5 hours of power. My refineries are currently not running because I am all out of ore as well. So, yay me. Alrighty. So with that, let me come on over here and come into here, and I will call this the AM for Atmo Miner connector, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock it. Alright, now that I've done that, that is all locked up. I do not need this anymore. Woohoo! I could also disassemble that, but I don't have space for it at the moment. Alrighty, so the Atmo miner is connected. Let's see, how do I want to build this? I don't want a huge miner because it needs to fit back here. And right now I've got 1 block, 2 blocks. You know, I can extend this back by like 2 or 3 blocks. More than that though, and it's going to start looking a little awkward. So that means that I want to keep this a little on the short side. So I'm thinking that what I can do is I can go ahead and put a pair of modular cargo containers on each side. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go ahead and grab some interior plate. There we go. Then I want, no, not that one. I want this one. Conveyor sorter, conveyor converter. Alright, so if I put a conveyor converter on each side, that would then let me go ahead and put a pair of modular cargo containers on like this. Since I'm only going to be pushing ore through this, I don't need to worry about having the large connector there. And that also gives me some other random small connectors in case I wanted it. For instance, I could go ahead and make this a hydrogen miner. Would that make sense? Dang it, now I'm thinking. Curses. Let me go ahead and toss a pair of conveyor converters on up front. And if I were to do that, I could go ahead and basically stick a pair of drills on right here. Let's go ahead and stick a cockpit on. Ooh, I can stick the industrial cockpit on right here. Is that too close to the front? Possibly. You know what? Let's do it anyways. Alright, so that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots down the middle. But if I am going to go ahead and make this a hydrogen ship, what is subgrid mayhem? Okay. Anyways, dum. No, let's not do a hydrogen ship. Let's just do an atmospheric ship because I'm more familiar with them. So I don't need to worry about things like and let's go ahead. And I like the look of the sci-fi ones because they're cool. So let's go ahead and slap one there and one there. That should give me more than enough. And then hang on. No, wait. I needed to do a single one. Because a single one should be able to carry all of this, possibly with some side thrust. So let's go ahead, slap the battery down, slap that down, slap another battery down, and then move the cockpit back to there. Alright, so yeah, that will be the core of the ship. And then I can go ahead and do... Nope, beacon? I can slap a beacon down temporarily, and I'll swap that out for an antenna later. I probably also need a beacon for this ship. Where can I shove one? There's this little gap here. Gap down there too. Yeah, things to think about. I'll worry about that later. Do I have more? Yes. More kelp crisps. So I also have Clang crunchies and a synth loaf available for me. Ooh, and I have fruit, grain, and mushrooms. So I just need to find veggies in a signal. Alright. Let's go ahead and weld this up as much as I can. Alright, so let's now start by grabbing the batteries. And then that. And then and despite this little thing protecting me from radiation, it does not sadly protect me from other weather events. Oh, not the beacon. There we go. And let's just stick these two batteries on recharge. And that is the primary reason why I'm building it on this rather than like on a landing gear. And let's turn that thruster off. There we go. Alright. Build these two sorters.
Energy low.
Oh, come on. There we go. Ow! Oh. Almost done. Oh, the survival kit took some damage. So, in case you weren't aware, apparently what happens with drills is the drill will spread damage to nearby blocks, which is why stuff like this small concrete container is damaged, despite this not being damaged itself. And that's also why, for instance, my survival kit got damaged. So, fun stuff. Alright, and then I'm gonna convey that up somehow. Radio components. That's what takes up so much space. Ooh, ghosty friends. Guess that means it's night. So I did look this up, and the mod that brings my ghosty friends here is, I believe, called Victims of Clang. And it just spawns these little ghosts and/or zombies, which apparently have somehow angered Clang. And then they come back as ghosts. Apparently it only happens on planets if you have this mod installed. So if that's something that you are interested in, ow! Breeze. By all means, check it out. Alright, still have 3 hours of power, and then let me check. My interior turrets are still mostly good. Except for number 3. That's number 2. That one's number 3. There we go. Alright, so interior turrets are still good. I do not have coverage back here, which is something to be aware of. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. finish grabbing all the pieces. And then let's grind this beacon down. Ow! And then replace it with an antenna. Alright, there we go. And now let's find this antenna. And for right now, at least, turn it off. And now I can also recharge my suit in here if I have important things like, you know, oxygen, which apparently I'm lacking at the moment. Cool. Ow. Alright, so, let's see here. Speaking of oxygen, I could just go ahead and, let me go grab a bunch of steel plates. And see what else I want to stick on here. So I can stick a small oxygen tank on there, and then I can come on in here and find my various logic boxes, which are somewhere in here. Yeah, look. Oh, I need to... Okay, I apparently need to go ahead and build some lights. Let's... find my lights. Alright, so since this is basically guaranteed to be here, let's go ahead and put one right there. And then I can come on over to this side and put one right here. There we go. I now have some lights on this ship. And let's go find those lights. And we'll just crank them all the way up to 20, lower the intensity down, and hey, we now have some lighting. Oh no. Alright. Alright, so this is now powering the whole ship. Let me come find my hydrogen engines. Just turn them on. I have 49% hydrogen, which means that those two hydrogen tanks are full-ish. And now I can come back in to those two batteries and set them back to recharge, so that way the ship can eventually fly. And I will just need to keep an eye on that and make sure that I do not run out of hydrogen again, so that way I can finish this. No, let's just grab this oxygen tank. There we go, oxygen. Now then, I was looking for these blocks. Let me just stick that down there. Find my timer. AI blocks. I've got AI timers and such. And I forgot what else I usually stick on here, so whatever. I want an event controller. Alright, then I need to go ahead and pipe this up. So let's go ahead and just... grab a bunch of these. Alrighty. There we go. That is now fully piped up. Alright, I've got the one upwards thruster, and then let's go ahead and start working on the other thrusters. I'm going to stick a gyro here. And then let's go ahead and stick in some Atmo thrusters there. And then I want to stick in some Atmos thrusters there. Then do that gets me 9 forward, 12 back, because, you know, why not? I need a side thrust. Let's also just stick some more on here. This is possibly overkill. And then since I'm already up here anyways, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? Just line the whole side. 7. There we go. That is probably massive thruster overkill, but I would rather have too much thrust than not enough thrust. Next, let's go ahead and stick on some more gyros. Do I have any space down here for easy gyros? Not really. But what I do have is oh, that's why. It's floodlight, not spotlight. This is what I wanted here. Oh. Let's stick a pair of spotlights on. A pair of angled floodlights downwards. And then I need construction components. A couple of interior lights. I'll put two there, and then, ow! I can also stick in a pair back here. Alright, let's go ahead and put this all together. And alrighty. So I think I should have enough to finish building. Ow! Ice, please stop. Alright.
Your
Owie.
health is low.
Alright, let's come back on over here to my lovely survival kit. And I am almost done with this little miner. So, I think actually what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to finish welding this thing up and bring you back when I am done. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, and we are back. This is basically done. I do, however, have one thing that I was missing, and that is the stone ejectors. As for where to put stone ejectors, that's a little bit more of a conundrum. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run along kind of the bottom of this and just have it eject stone like down the center. And I can either go ahead, see, I go here, I can put in a small sorter there, and then I can go ahead and put in a C there, and then I can 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And then I can just set those sorters to whitelist stone. And then all the ejectors, or connectors, will just go to collect all and throw out. But the only thing that they can collect is stone, so... Alright, let me just go grab like 20 more steel plates. Alright. Out of motors again. Alright, and then motors. That should be more than enough motors for this. Alright. Alright. There we go. Finally! Now, I will probably at some point go ahead and put some additional greebling around this just to reinforce it a little bit. Maybe like put some bands around those but this should be good enough to get me going. So let's go ahead and test. So first off, I need my thrusters. AM thrusters, save, and let's turn those on. And then connector, let us unlock. Damn it. Oh boy. Forgot to set the batteries on off recharge. Alright, well, I guess I need a couple pistons. So let's go ahead. 7R. Let me come into my groups and have thrusters toggle off on. And then let's find that connector, switch lock. Let's just take all of these thrusters and hide them. I do not need that. And then sorters. Whitelist. Whitelist. Stone. There we go. And then my stone ejectors. There we go. Alright. So now all I need to do is flip this bad boy over, and it will all be fine again, alright? Piston 2, reverse that. Yep. Alright. Alright, you guys are annoying me. Come here. You. Stop flying around. Thank you for your sacrifice. Alrighty. Time to continue this. Piston 4, or reverse. Alright. Maybe this will be in the last one? Almost there. Nope, need even more. What about gyro? Nope, okay. Not enough. Let's see here. Almost there. Alright, now if I turn this on... Woohoo! We did it! Now I can just get rid of these contraptions. And then do the very, very important task of setting up the event controller. So we are going to go ahead and have this do connector lock unlock for the connector. If this is locked or unlocked, we are going to go ahead and set the battery to recharge on, and more importantly, recharge off. Recharge on, and then recharge off. Perfect. Then we are going to go ahead and go into the groups, and we're going to have the thrusters off, and then we are going to turn them on. The stone ejectors, we will go ahead and turn them, collect all off, and then collect all on, and then throw out off, and throw out on. You know what, actually I can just go ahead and get rid of all that and just have them turn off and on. There we go. So batteries, thrusters, and then the only other thing that I would do normally is lights, but for right now at least, what I really need, slightly overstressing those batteries, but let's not worry about that, and instead let's get some ice, because I desperately need ice. And it looks like I'm going to need to rejigger this to have more batteries. Because as it is just not happy with that. So, only real question is where to put them, and whether or not I have to go ahead and delete the current batteries to make room. There we go. Alright. Now, I can just check ice. There we go. Perfect. Okie dokie then. So, I need more batteries. If I slide the engine, or that thruster, forward, that gives me 4 space. I can push this forward one more, and that gives me another. Then I can put the thruster basically directly behind that, and that gives me space for a vertical and then 2 flats. Alright. Well, I'm going to have to do some rejiggering of this. Not very happy with how this little miner turned out. I'm also not entirely sure I need quite that many thrusters, but also with this many thrusters I should be able to fly vertically even sideways. So actually, if I hop in here, let me just check something. Yeah, so this is 46,000, and fully loaded, it'd be about 100,000 kilograms. So, yeah. Um, got some work to do there. I like the ejector system, so that's gonna stay. But I think the big thing is just I need to rejigger the and figure out how to get more batteries on, which I think means I'm gonna go ahead and pull the cab forward by one slot. So, anyways, if you watched all the way to the end, thank you very much for watching. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.